For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. It is said that Ecclesiastes was written by King Solomon in response to Proverbs in the Bible. In it, King Solomon's point is that life is not so simple as to fear God and choose wisdom. While important, it is also vital for us as humans to go through journeys and hardships, or seasons, if you will. Life isn't a linear journey, it's a series of seasons, each with its unique challenges and opportunities. In this episode, we'll delve into the importance of understanding and embracing these seasons, and I'll provide actionable tips to navigate them effectively. Welcome to the Hope is Not a Plan podcast, where we address tough questions head on, face our problems, and highlight our hopes by providing actionable planning steps to improve ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. Now, let's get logged in and get locked on to this episode of the Hope is Not a Plan podcast. I was a mess. Overweight, out of shape, completely drained from years of demanding work. The 2017 Murph Challenge was a brutal reality check. Then my friend Mike introduced me to Jocko Willink's philosophy. It was a game changer. I started small with a simple daily workout routine. Little by little got stronger physically, mentally. Now I'm sharing my journey with over 500,000 people on the Hope is Not a Plan podcast YouTube channel and here on the audio only version years later. So this cyclical life that we have, we all know it, right? We understand it. We embrace the seasons. We realize sometimes our seasons we're in shape. Sometimes we're doing well. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes we need to open up and listen. And in today's episode, I'll share the importance of recognizing what season of life you're in, how to embrace the season, how to grow in a positive way, how to get prepared for the next season. Because like nature seasons, this season of human life changes as well, right? Sometimes we make them change. Sometimes something happens to us. So let's jump into this number one. Tip one that I found helpful is to identify and acknowledge your current season. The power of self-awareness will transform your life, right? That ownership, that realizing that you're not where you want to be, that not losing hope though, but creating a plan of action, right? Hope's not a plan. That will create a path for you to grow in a positive direction. So let's look at seasons of human life as they align with seasons in nature. The planting season. This is the time of sowing seeds, setting intentions. I have found that this happens after a critical event, either positive or negative. Maybe it was inspired by a former Navy SEAL like I was after I did a positive event, remembering a hero. Or perhaps it was a massive panic attack and I dove into how to balance life. Also me, right? Perhaps you. It's frustrating and it's a confusing place to be, but the planning season is where we see, okay, we have to set these intentions. The next season is the growing season, right? This is a season where we start to put in that work to build the foundation of those 7 pillars I've talked about, right? Owning where we are, starting our mindfulness, looking into how we want to get regular movement, setting boundaries, making or remaking human connections, learning about sleep hygiene, re-exploring our faith, or expanding on our job, applying somewhere else, growing, put in the extra work, whatever it has to do with. It's an eye-opening place to be. So we're going to plant and realize, where are we? We're going to grow and put the work in to see, okay, I need to make a difference. And then we're going to harvest that. We're going to reap what we sow in the harvesting season. We're not going to blame outside forces so much for the outcomes in our lives, right? But we're better able to calm our minds. We're getting stronger, a little sore, but we're building our endurance. We're making our circle small but strong of who we let in our lives. We feel more like humans again with that connection. We're sleeping better than we have. And we've connected with something larger than ourselves, whatever that is. This is a good place to be. Then at some point we hit the winter season. This is historically in nature when a lot of people stay inside. They get a bit lazy and cozy when it's cold. Love it, right? A cold day outside, coming in, getting warm. It's also when we can fall back into bad habits. This is the dark, cold reality, right? Of that the grind takes to consistently put work into ourselves, right? We're grinding when it's cold outside and we're in the garage gym, or it's gray for months and we're in our home office or the office downtown. Whatever it is, it's a tough season, right? This is life as a more balanced human though, because we have to keep churning. This is a hard place to be, but it's one of the 4 seasons kind of in our life. So here's a practical exercise to help you accept and acknowledge your current season. It's very simple. Make a list. Make one bullet Are you where you want to be mentally, physically, and spiritually? If you said no to mentally, look into mindfulness. Start a journaling practice. Those are two very simple things that have had a big impact on my life and thousands of others, maybe millions. If you said no physically, go to your doctor and get a physical. Find out what's happening internally. Think about whether you want to be stronger or need to be stronger, whether you've better endurance, more flexible, or all of those. There are workout combos that will give you all those things. Also, go to the Hope Is Not a Plan YouTube channel for workout ideas. You get fitness 15 seconds at a time. It's free. It's fun. I try and pick good music. And if you said no to spiritually, talk to someone you know that is spiritual. Ask them why they believe what they do. If you're comfortable, right? That's an uncomfortable conversation for some folks that aren't close, but find out, what is it about what you believe that keeps you going, that gives you inspiration, that supports you. And then go sit in on a session at a church or a mosque or a temple, Jewish or Hindu temple, or sit outside in nature, right? Whatever your thing is, get some spirituality. If you said yes, that you are where you want to be, well, then you're harvesting, right? You're taking advantage of the work that you've put in, and congratulations. The second tip is to embrace the season that you're in. It's kind of the beginning of, the planning season, but the art of acceptance is a very hard thing to do, right? It's hard to accept that we've gained weight, that we're not happy with our life or our job, to look in the mirror and tell ourselves that it's not good enough. I hear you. I have been there too, more than once, twice, 3 times. Being objective and transparent with ourselves, though, is the only way it's going to change. And I'm not saying to berate yourself. You don't have to look in the mirror and talk to yourself like David Goggins talks to us, and that's inspiration in its own way. But accept where you are, take ownership, and then get moving, get stepping, get after it. Mindfulness and gratitude, right? Not necessarily just the sitting mindfulness quietly, but be thankful for where you are, for the awakening that you're having. This is so hard to do. I know for me, when I was exhausted, no one sleeping, I was anxious, and I had terrors, I hated where I was. But looking back, now I'm in a season where I can harvest some of those hard-earned lessons learned, and we're also, there's some crossover where I'm a bit in winter, where I've gotten some complacent in areas, just like nature, right? It's spring and then snow's blowing around at the soccer game. That doesn't make any sense. That happened last year. And that happens in our lives, right? The seasons cross over a bit. But there's power in that. And so think back to your growing season when you dove in, right? Reread a work that inspires you. For me, it's Man's Search for Meaning, right? Viktor Frankl has given me so much inspiration, insight, and hope. And I believe he would for you too, that reread something that helped you when you were growing, when you were planting the seeds, when you were building up your knowledge and your skills. And as part of this tip 2, embracing the season you're in, set realistic expectations, right? Don't be or try to be someone you see on Instagram or YouTube, including me. If it's taken you years to gain 100 pounds, it will likely take you months or years to lose it in a healthy way. And that's hard to pill swallow, but that's fine. Or if you messed up and you've got some work to do, you got to find a new job, whatever it is, the reality pill is the prescription we all need sometimes, right? To make lasting change. The grind shows us the way. The getting up, the working out, and do it again. And the getting up and working out. The thing is, as you learn, like I mentioned earlier along the way, you can mix it up a little bit. Today, my body doesn't feel like heavy weights. I'm going to do a yoga. Today, I feel like I want to push it a little bit. I'm going to do a bunch of burpees, whatever it is. Along the path, you do build those knowledge and tools that will last with you forever, right? For example, I've put in probably thousands of hours in the garage gym over the years, right? Into researching what works best for strength, endurance, mental strength. So now I have a library to choose from. So when I go out in my garage gym or in my living room or whatever it is, I can, it's kind of like if you took a college course or a self-study course. When you put the work into yourself, you're building and enabling yourself for the long term. And that leads us to tip 3, prepare for the next season. The importance of planning, right? I had been a planner for decades when I decided to start getting after it really regularly physically again in my, adult years. When I was younger, I was very physically active. Then again, years later, when I strengthened my mind and spirit, right? When I needed to calm some anxiousness and build myself up after depression. But after all, my public safety friends and I used to teach when we taught incident command and incident management, hope is not a plan. So I cannot overstate the importance of creating a plan for you making the plan. Keep it simple. Use a bullet point outline. make like 3 major headings: mind, body, spirit. Add 2 to 3 sub-bullets to each one. And these sub-bullets should be mind, body, spirit areas you want to improve or that you recognize you have challenges in. Right? The next step is for you to act on them. So you can mature the basic outline into a plan, like a table that has dates and milestones and what you want to accomplish. So for example, let's go with spirit. The sub-bullet is I want to find a higher power, whatever that means. Higher powers is a word used in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and other kind of therapeutic groups, right? It's not denominationally focused, so to speak. It's what do you think is higher that's going to help you through this? Go to an AA meeting, right? All you have to do is be open-minded and be willing to talk to folks. A second sub-bullet you could put is attend a Jewish religious service, right? Talk to someone you know that's Jewish or a Christian or Muslim or Hindu or whatever it is. Go to a service. But if you want to work on your spirit, talk to folks that are working on theirs or that have built theirs up, right? Learn from their experience. So you want continuous learning and growth too, right? Like this doesn't stop. So put your improvements in motion. Will cost you time and money, but it's worth it. You're worth it. You're a miracle. You've put in the work. Buy that squat rack. Buy that audiobook. Take that leadership course. Get a new dress for worship. Invest in you and never stop investing. If you're short on cash, it seems like everybody's got a phone. YouTube has tons of information and it's free, right? There are thrift shops. There's Play It Again Sports that sells racks that are used. There are ways to get things. You don't even need equipment. But the point is to put the time and effort into yourself because nobody else is going to if you're not going to show them and yourself that you're willing to put in that work. So just here in the United States anyway, we're in the fall season, right? Headed towards winter. So we're in the gray. It's going to get grayer. So let's go over these 3 key things again for our seasons. 1, accept and acknowledge what season of life we're in. 2, embrace the season without too much harsh self-judgment. Sometimes we need to talk to ourselves, but don't beat yourself up. 3, get to planning and prepare for the next season. If you're in the darkness of your winter season, light a candle and embrace the light. Give yourself grace, but don't accept where you are. If you're just starting your planting season, be open to outside feedback and advice. If you're moving through the growing season, take it all in and be a sponge. And if you're lucky to be in that harvesting season, relish in it and think about how you can share with others who may be facing challenges. Your call to action is share with me on X or Instagram at Hope's Not a Plan. What season are you in? How do you plan to get out of it if you're in the winter season or you're just kind of planting? How can I help? To start, head to hopeisnotaplan.org, where I dive into how to take action on those 7 pillars of ownership, mindfulness, movement, boundaries, connection, sleep, and faith. These are the areas that really helped me pull myself out of darkness, reduce anxiousness, get in better shape, healthier, all those kinds of things. Thank you all for listening, subscribing. Share this podcast with someone you think it would help. And I appreciate your time. Leave a review on Apple or Spotify. Those are the 2 big dogs. Stay safe out there. Accept that. Move through your seasons in life, right, with using hope as fuel. Action is your transformative force. And I wish you all Godspeed.